guys? Welcome to the first episode of Megami Tensei Mythology, a series where we look at the lore, design, gameplay, and in-game roles of various demons of the Megami Tensei universe. To kick this series off, I'm going to be looking at one of my favorite and what I feel is a very underrated demon in the Megami Tensei franchise, Abaddon. Abaddon, also known as Apollyon in Greek, is an extremely important and controversial figure in Judeo-Christian lore. There's an ongoing debate among Bible scholars over what Abaddon's role really is. Some believe it's on the side of the devil, some believe it's on the side of God, some believe it's synonymous with the devil, some believe it's synonymous with the Antichrist, and some believe it isn't a living entity at all, rather it's a location. The name Abaddon means destroyer or place of destruction in Hebrew. In some translations, such as the Christian Standard Bible, the word Abaddon is used 6 times, 5 of which are in the Old Testament, and in 3 of these verses, Sheol, the realm of the dead, is also mentioned. These passages suggest that Abaddon is a location. However, it's also worth mentioning that most English translations of the Bible don't use this terminology. In them, Abaddon is simply replaced with destruction, and Sheol is replaced with death. In the New Testament and in other English translations, the word Abaddon is only used once, and that's in Revelation 9:11. They had as king over them the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek is Apollyon, that is, destroyer. The ones being referred to in this verse are the locusts that emerge from the abyss in the beginning of chapter 9, after the sounding of the 5th trumpet. These locusts bring torment upon those who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads for 5 months. They're described as being like horses prepared for battle, having hair like women, teeth like lions, breastplates of iron, and sounding like chariots. Abaddon is most commonly depicted as a giant locust, and this is likely where that depiction comes from. Similarly, he's also mentioned in the Greater Key of Solomon as being one of the entities that was invoked by Moses to bring rain upon Egypt for the 7th plague of Egypt. Despite 9:11 being the only passage in Revelation where Abaddon is mentioned by name, there are other passages that describe a figure very similar to him, such as in Revelation 20, 1-3, where a figure that fits his description is observed by John. And I saw an angel coming down out of heaven, having the key to the abyss and holding in his hand a great chain. He seized the dragon, that ancient serpent, who is the devil or Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. He threw him into the abyss and locked and sealed it over him, to keep him from deceiving the nations anymore until the 1,000 years were ended. After that, he must be set free for a short time. If the entity being described in this passage is Abaddon, then it suggests that Abaddon isn't associated with Satan, rather he is actually a righteous figure being responsible for casting Satan into the abyss. The confusion over Abaddon's role as an entity likely lies in the definition of the word itself. As mentioned earlier, Abaddon means place of destruction, and in the Old Testament is described to be associated with Sheol. Sheol in the Bible refers to a realm of the dead that is cut off from God. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, Abaddon is also described as being synonymous with Hell, or a division of Hell. Not counting designs in Demikids and outside Shin Megami Tensei, Abaddon has 4 designs, although 2 of them lack artwork and are game-specific. He made his first appearance in Shin Megami Tensei 1 as a member of the Fallen race at level 60, unlike in most later games where he's a tyrant. Outside of SMT, Abaddon is usually depicted as a giant locust. However, in SMT, he appears as a giant green slime-like monster with a big mouth. I wasn't able to find anything that depicted him in a similar way to this, but I believe that because he's being depicted as both King of the Abyss and the Abyss itself, Abaddon's mouth represents the Abyss. Part of the reason I think this is because of Devil Survivor, where when you summon him he says, "I am the Abyss, Abaddon the Vile, I am invincible." This is the design that would be used in Persona 3-5, the Devil Survivor games, and the Digital Devil Saga games. In Nocturne, Abaddon got a new design, this time as a head with wings that is connected with the ground and can descend into or emerge from it. Once again, I couldn't find any possible inspiration for this design. However, this design is extremely similar to Alciel, who was also introduced in Nocturne, and much like Abaddon, he is depicted as either a living being or a place associated with Hell. This is the design that the rest of the mainline games would use for him. Despite his importance, for the most part, Abaddon doesn't play any major roles in Shin Megami Tensei games. The biggest role he plays is in Shin Megami Tensei 2, where his heart is fought as a boss when Aleph enters his body after he swallows Valhalla. In Digital Devil Saga 2, the Tribvana, however you pronounce it, I probably screwed it up, but the Tribvana member Earth turns into him after devouring his 2 allies. I might as well mention his appearance in Raito 2 as well, because I feel like if I don't, I'm going to get angry comments. King Abaddon in Raito 2 is just a title given to the one who rules over the Apollyon insects. The Apollons in Raito 2 are giant locusts that wreak havoc on the capital throughout the game. Other than these roles though, Abaddon's role is mostly limited to being a summonable demon/enemy and sometimes a mid-boss. Despite having mostly minor roles in SMT, his gameplay is a completely different story, being one of the most useful demons in most games he appears in. In Persona 3, he learns all of the Null physical skills, plus Absorb Strike, Null physical in Persona 4, and Drain physical in Persona 5. And in both Devil Survivor 1 and 2, he's one of the first demons to learn the extremely useful skill Anti-Most, a skill that makes the user resist everything except physical, a should-be staple skill on every demon the player uses. In Nocturne and SMT4, he innately blocks Expel and Death, which is extremely useful in the fight against Beelzebub in Nocturne, and in Nocturne 4 and Apocalypse, he transforms into Alciel, who resists all elemental magic in Nocturne and nulls it in 4 and Apocalypse. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and tell me what demons you want to see in the next episode in the comments. Be sure to check out some of our other videos too. See you next time.